everyone, welcome back to my channel, Side Hustle Seattle. Now, first of all, it's felt like I haven't made a video in a very long time. I think it's been like a week and a half, but it feels like forever. So excited to be back talking with you all. Now, I wanted to give a quick update on how it's been going with me trying to advertise my remote online notary business or my services. Now, a couple videos back, it was when I was talking about me creating my website. I had mentioned that I was unsure of where to advertise my services. And a lot of you guys in the comments gave a bunch of helpful suggestions. People hit me up on the side on Instagram and gave a lot of helpful suggestions as well. So thank you for everybody who continues to comment and just engage with these videos. I truly appreciate it. Now, there's a lot of websites out there, but I chose a select few to start with, and those being Fiverr, I've done Thumbtack, I've done Google My Business, which was heavily suggested. I've done Yelp, I've created an Instagram for my business, and then of course I have my own website. Now, my experience with each of those has varied, and the amount of business I've gotten from each of those, if at all, has definitely varied. So I wanted to kind of go into how that's been for me, some plans I have for the future, just to kind of keep you guys in tune about what I have going on. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the first one I signed up for was Fiverr. And if you don't know what Fiverr is essentially a platform where freelancers can advertise their services. When you go on, you see a lot of people who do like web design, who do data entry, who do YouTube thumbnails. Like any freelancer tends to be on Fiverr. But when I was looking through it, I saw a lot of different remote online notaries on there as well. So I was like, oh, I'll go ahead and try it too, because I saw that at least the way it looked is that a lot of them were getting business through that platform. Now, the thing about Fiverr is the full transaction takes place through the platform itself. So you advertise your service, you say how much it is, and then Fiverr takes a percentage of that cut. So if I'm like, I'm a remote online notary, I charge $25 for one single document or one notarization. Fiverr is going to take, I don't think it's 30%. I think it's like, 15% or whatever the case may be. I will put the correct amount on the screen somewhere. And that's how it works. So they do not really allow you to advertise off-platform transactions or anything like that. So it kind of messes with the flexibility that you have because it has to completely go through them. But like I said, it does seem to be a very popular platform, at least for freelancers. And it does tend to give some remote online notaries business as well. Now, as far as I go, though, I have not gotten a single thing through Fiverr so far. I'm going to keep my listing up there just in case. But as far as I go, I have not gotten any hits on it so far, and really haven't gotten that many views on my gig either. I want to say I've gotten maybe like 20, 30 views. So I'll maybe go back and tweak it just to see if I can get some more business in that way. The next one I signed up for, and one that was actually suggested to me pretty early on in my journey, is Thumbtack. Now, Thumbtack is a little bit more like, has like a TaskRabbit feel to it, right? You advertise, essentially connects locals with other local professionals. You advertise your service. It can be anything. You could paint houses, you could be a notary, you can be a wedding officiant. It doesn't matter. It's just connecting people with local professionals. And the way it works is they don't take a percentage of the actual transaction like Fiverr does. What they do is they charge you to generate leads. So you say, this is your business. These are the type of customers you want to attract. And if they find somebody who matches your criteria, so a strong lead, you will pay for that. And so for me, it's about $4 per lead for notary services. So if I'm like, hey, I want people who are going to come to me, or I'll go to them and max, 2 miles away, and I want them to, only have 1 or 2 signatures. You can get pretty specific. If they find somebody who meets all of that criteria and that person reaches out to me, then I pay $4 for that lead. So that's kind of one way to think about it. Now, I will say that one has been okay. I have only been booked through the actual platform one time through them, like booked through the platform, but I have had people reach out to me and was able to contact them in some other ways. So that has definitely been beneficial. If you're a mobile notary, I highly suggest it. I will say, for being a remote online notary, it's a little bit harder to truly advertise your business on there because there's no way of saying that you won't travel to them. You kind of have to say you don't travel to them, but they can travel to me, and then put in the description that you're remote. So it gets a little dicey. But yeah, I will say that one has actually been decently beneficial. Now the next ones you know, right? That being Instagram, Yelp, Google My Business. I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with those three platforms or services. Now I will say for Google My Business, the thing about it is it actually took me a really long time to get my business verified because you cannot verify a fully online business. So when I first created my Google My Business page, and like I said, everybody suggested that that's where I start. I had advertised I'm a remote online notary. I put that I didn't have a service area, or I put my service area as like all the US because I can notarize documents for everybody in the US. You know, I put my hours, I put my website, and that was it. And once I clicked verify, it was like, oh, it's going to take 3 business days to verify it. A week passed, nothing. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's just a little bit longer. COVID times, who knows? Another week passed, nothing. So I eventually was able to email in to support and be like, hey, I've been waiting. I'm not sure what's going on. I've already received the little postcard to claim the business and all of that. And then somebody wrote back and be like, hey, it looks like you were trying to verify an online business, and that is actually against our terms of service. So what I then had to go back and do, I say that I was also willing to be mobile, which I am to a certain degree. So I went in, I put that I was also available in a pretty limited coverage area, which were all travel to the person. And I had to change that on both Google My Business and on my site because they verified it by checking on my actual website, snowsnotaryservice.com as well. So it was interesting. It was a little bit harder, but keep in mind, if you are a remote online notary and you're trying to advertise through Google My Business, you cannot do it if you're just doing remote online notary work. You have to have some sort of mobile service to it, or some sort of service where people can come to you or you can come to them. So just be aware of that. But now, because of Google My Business, I do have a little bit of a mobile business as well, if you will. But I live in Belltown, and if you're familiar with Seattle, then you know Seattle's not the biggest city in the world. But I just did the surrounding neighborhoods. So Capitol Hill, downtown, Queen Anne, things that are really easy to get to via bus or walking. Now, I will say that out of all of the places that I've advertised my business, Google My Business has definitely generated the most leads from me. That's how I get hit up the most. I've connected my appointment scheduling to it. That's where I've definitely generated the most leads. I will say though, although I've generated more leads from Google My Business, I definitely haven't generated enough leads or my expected leads given how many views I get on my Google My Business page. I get a ton of views on my Google My Business page, but I've got, maybe 10 to 15 leads off of it. And that's over maybe a month's time, a little under a month. And that's just not meeting my expectation. And that could be for a couple different reasons, right? It could be, how I'm advertising, what platforms I'm using. And so that was a little bit eye-opening for me. And so I had to kind of sit back and think to myself, why is that, right? Why are people visiting my page but not necessarily clicking through? Or, why am I not generating as many leads on the Thumbtacks, the Fiverrs, the whatever other pages? And I had to be kind of honest with myself because in the beginning, when I was signing up for all these different platforms and advertising my business in different places, I was very much just checking a box, right? I'm like, okay, here's a list of places I should sign up for. Let me go ahead, create an account, put my business name out there, brief description, couple pictures, boom, done. Let me step back and just let them pour in. But then once I actually looked at it from a customer's viewpoint, I wouldn't have clicked into mine either. The pictures were random, the description wasn't super clear. It just didn't look like it was easy to navigate. And it didn't look professional, quite frankly. And so I really had to take some time, and that's what I've been doing a lot of this week, and kind of rebrand, if you will. Still Snow's Notary Service, but I had to go in and create some better pictures, had to go in and change the description, had to go in and make it easier to navigate. And I did that with both my website and every place that I signed up. I either adjusted the gig, adjusted the wording, made it easier for people to schedule an appointment for me, made it easier for people to get their questions answered. But that was, that was definitely one of those things that I should have just been more intentional in the beginning about it, but I wasn't. And because of that, I'm sure that definitely limited the amount of leads that I got. But I am excited that I've gone through and done it now. So everything's updated. Like I said, I did that this week. And so I'll keep you posted on if that's definitely helped me generate some more business. So I'm excited to see how that goes. So one thing I do want to try is business cards. I've seen a lot of forums where people talk about business cards and dropping business cards. Like, I don't have business cards even in my normal job, right? I'm like, connect with me on LinkedIn if you want to get to me. But I am curious. I want to drop some business cards in some different places that I think would be really beneficial. So if you have business cards for your notary service or for any business that you may do, because I know a lot of you guys watching are just entrepreneurs in general and have a lot of different businesses, let me know who you got them through. Let me know which information you think is best. And let me know if you think dropping business cards works at all. Because again, I've seen it on different forums. Some people are for them. Some people are against them, but definitely curious to what you all think. And in general, now that you've heard where I've advertised my business, where else do you think I should do it at? Again, I've done Fiverr, Thumbtack, Google My Business, Yelp, Instagram. I haven't done Facebook yet, and that's just mainly because I'm never on Facebook, really. But if that's where it's at, I will be there. So definitely give me those suggestions. Oh, and lastly, and this is just a heads up, I definitely want to get back to making some videos where I'm just talking about general side hustles, different side hustles out there for people who may be looking for different ways to make money. So I'll definitely continue to keep you updated on my remote online notary journey. I'll definitely continue to make weekly videos about notary work, remote online notary work, signing agent work. So do not worry, but I wanted to give you a heads up that you'll start to see some other videos talking about different side hustles, and I did not want you to be caught off guard. So hopefully you enjoyed those as well. But as always, thank you for watching.